Hello, everybody, and welcome. Hey to both Connor and Liam.
Good evening. Good morning, in fact,
Bonjour.
nearly.
It's almost morning. It's fine. We know that I don't stream at appropriate times. Um, right. I think. Well, what we're going to do today is if my camera stops flickering at me, it's fine. Wakey wakey. See if I can get it to stop that. No, it doesn't like it. It's fine. Yeah, what we're going to do is have a quick breakdown of this week's XTC stuff, and I don't know, maybe some things we're surprised at. There's a couple of surprises this week. I mean, do you just want to go into it? Because you guys have at least been paying some attention to the XTC. What has been your for context? Connor is in the XTC as part of Team Ireland. Liam is super sub, and obviously everyone is a bad person because no one picked him up.
I agree with that entirely.
As a serious thing,
Yep.
like Liam, you should have been in the XTC. Like, shout out to Andreas as well. There was a couple of very good players that didn't
That are
get picked
sitting
up.
on the sidelines for no damn good reason.
Yeah, agreed with
I
that.
made like 3 good quality memes as well.
There we go. His interview was top notch.
And
There we
yet
go.
he didn't get past. It's the not being allowed within 60 feet of children thing, I think.
It's actually 50. It got reduced
Oh
for good
dear.
behaviour.
I mean, I wasn't entirely sure how long this was going to stay safe for work, but yeah, I think we went in hard. This is good. So
Both of you being cited there left me in momentary panic. I won't lie.
oh
It's like
god,
I'm trying to take over from Darren, who's the guy who gets kicked out of stream fastest.
nice. Well,
Let's discuss the XTC, shall we?
we probably
So,
should.
the ones that we did not expect to lose their first round, starting at the very top for me, Canada.
Oh,
Well done, Croatia. You've killed a juggernaut.
I'm slightly scared. We're playing
Yeah.
we're playing Croatia next round. Are they
Well,
good? Did they get the
well,
pairings right? I don't know.
there's getting the pairings right, and then there's knocking out a team with a positive win ratio of about 74% across the board. Canada was for me one of the favourites of this tournament.
Yeah.
Well, in
Yep.
fairness, they still are. Round one.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I can't like taking one loss in group stages, especially at the start when you have. Because I think the important thing to note here is that Canada hasn't done this pairings process before. Like they might have done small amounts, but also General Kenobi to the chat. Hello, people. Yeah, it's I don't know. Is this their first round screw up basically, or is Croatia
Croatia, a hidden
secret
dragon.
good? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, why not? Bar that, we had Iceland knocking out. Oh, flip.
Yeah, that's spicy.
Let me see if I can actually pull up the
Well,
entire thing.
just
Here
I've just before we go down the groups, because we may also well break it all down. For those of you watching on stream, you can see Group A here. Liam, was there any either country matchup or individual matchup that you've seen this week that has been either surprising or oh god?
I mean, Germany being taken to the 4-3 as
Oh,
an overall standpoint, that was quite a shock because you can't the team with the Germany strength regardless of their opponent to do fairly well.
yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
they literally talk about Germany as being the group of death, or the team that created that group of death, the reason that it was the group of death.
I know, right? Like Germany is meant to be the scary one and smash everyone, and 4-3 is close. Like
It's a tight fought round.
squeaky bum time.
I have seen a lot of games, and I know I'm stealing from Liam, and I deeply apologize, but a lot of games that have come down to the last turn.
Yeah, is that
Yeah.
just 2.0?
Distinctly possible. I mean, the reality is, or it's just the fact that everybody is building a list to try and marry a field, right? So the reality is, you always end up with there's no real ace list. There's very few anyway.
Yeah,
There's a lot of the middle of the pack list out there. And middle of the pack lists give up MOV.
they
That's the
do.
point. Beef gives up points. Dwarves give up points.
I think the fact
Whereas-
that like I'm not flying aces, that probably gives you enough information to know that aces are probably not the best right now.
Yeah, it's hurting me. I'm not playing them either.
Yeah, and
But I think that is going to lead to a situation where there's going to be some surprise results and B, a lot of very close games.
agreed. Although saying that, it is nice that there are because there are 7 games per round. It is definitely a case that you know Yeah, so 7 games per round takes out the surprise losses a little bit. Like if you're a good team and you're going to smash someone, then okay, you might not go 6-1, you might go 5-2, or you might drop down from the 5-2 to the 4-3. I suspect that's what might have happened to Germany, that they were going to go 5-2 based on pairings, and then they managed to. I think it was Lithuania managed to get the flip on one of their matchups.
Well, in fairness, I did watch the last one, and I don't know. They had control of that from step one. I'm not going to mention who it was, but they had control of it from the very, very beginning. They played very, very well. I mean, that's the other thing, right? I mean, we've basically, like, the online X-Wing community has exploded courtesy of lockdown. There's been a lot of people who haven't played it. And there's been a lot of people that have reappeared, or in the case of Croatia, downloaded it yesterday.
Yeah, I mean,
to show up and stop their way through.
We're gonna have a chat about this when we get down to the Croatia matchup. But like, literally, one person in the Croatian team downloaded TTS the day before his game. That's what happened.
So there's a lot of people who are on the table and have come off of it, and there's a lot of people who've got a lot better on TTS because they've had a year to play. Now, Bartosz made a very good point where somebody went, America is expected to kick ass, blah, blah, blah. It's like America's expected to kick ass because the 2 biggest streams online are American.
Yeah.
And that they stream the biggest American tournaments. And the people that stay awake to watch those and play those are Americans. Europe, on the other hand, tends to play a lot more locally. Now they'll play the GSP events, they'll play some of the online ones, but the reality is we play the Italian and Polish events and the English events. And the Americans never get to cast eyes on these people.
Yeah. And most of European X-Wing at the moment is league based. You've got Sith Takers, you've got a few other like weekly leagues.
And the best one, which is clearly keeping it fam.
Obviously, well, the quality in these are terrifying. Like I went into the recent Polish one, and I got smacked down 3-3. So like there is some really good quality in that.
Yeah, well, they may not speak English, America, but they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the reason that America thinks best X-Wing is literally it's skewed from their perception of X-Wing. They don't pay attention to the European meta a lot. So when we see as Europe, we kind of consume everything as a whole. We don't isolate ourselves from external.
Yeah, I think
you kind of get a better perception of it all.
True. There's also an argument that that's starting to become slightly less. I think there's a reason that people should be scared of America and calendar, because of the fact that now they're playing online, maybe they're not getting those hang-ups that they used to later. I don't know, it'll be really interesting to see. I mean, shout out to USA. I think if there's one thing that I noticed coming out of this is that USA as a team did really well in the first round.
And they should be expected to. Like, the reality is the 2 big, let's go 4 biggest hubs in the world are USA, England, Germany, Poland, right?
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, for sure.
And they should all be expected to be in the top 8. Because you have such a depth of skill, knowledge, and player base that you should be able to pick a team that makes that. And there's no big surprises there. The smaller countries and the more isolated countries will have more difficulties. The fact that UK has been split into 4.5 kind of, is based on the fact that most of the player, like the top player base, lands into England. So England, you're expected to do well.
Yeah.
America, you're expected to do well. Frankly, in my mind, Canada, you're expected to do well because I've never played a bad Canadian.
Well, this is going to be interesting. So I think at this point, I'm just going to address a couple of ones from the chat, and then we'll get down into the breakdown. So first of all, hello to those of you that said hi. Interesting one from Asgal. Play 2 ships, win by 150 points. There is a couple of 2 ship lists, mostly FO, but there is a Supernatural Kylo around. TTS Flex, download TTS, beat Canada. And also true that the Canadians, we'll get to that in a second, but the Canadians had a couple of coin flip games that their dice did let them down on the last turn, but I haven't watched the whole thing. Cool. And hello to Tassiso Agostino, possibly.
I am 100% expecting Canada to be an anomaly.
Oh yeah, I also think Canada are going to come back swinging. Yeah, you should be. Whoever plays Canada next round. Pro tip: it's Finland, which is we need to talk about that one later because that's important to both of us.
I think before the end of this, we need to decide which one the group of death is, because I am not signing off on it being D.
No, I agree. That's something I want to get to either, because just as we have a look at this, let's have a look at Group A, because Group A is, we're seeing a tale of two parts right now in Group A. That is 3-6-1s and 1-5-2 for the first round. I mean, that is a lot of stomps.
Are any of them surprises? Well,
Well, Poland lost a game, and frankly, they were surprised when they lost that on stream.
Shout out to Lucas Golonka, who you could probably hear the swearing from England when he lost that game. He got absolutely dumpstered with double IGs against sprays. I don't know which way that was meant to go, but ouch. Don't watch that game. It's not safe for kids.
I didn't, in fairness, but who won that?
Lucas lost with the double IGs. But
well, I should have called it at the start. I would have thought sprays would have thumped that list sideways.
I get the impression that was the throwaway that allowed them to get the good pairings into the rest of it.
Fair. Well, that wouldn't have been a surprising loss for me. I wouldn't even worry about that one. I'd write it off.
Yes.
Because IG is not going to. I mean, they're out initiative, they're out ship, they're out hull, they're out fucking everything.
Oh, sorry. Did I get the wrong player? Was it Timo? No, sorry, it was Timo. Timo lost his game against sprays. I apologise. You could also hear the swearing from Germany, but that's fine. In my defence, they're both very large and hairy. That's it's fine. Shout out to Asgel. Hopefully he didn't shout too many things at you down a microphone. Right, so, but yeah, Poland expected. Italy expected. For those of you who were sleeping on Italy, don't be sleeping on Italy. They're a very scary team.
I was not sleeping on Italy.
Yeah. I think this one is scary. Like, Brazil against Greece. I wasn't expecting Greece to be the best team in the world, but they do have some decent players. I mean, Tom Fieldsend playing Ray. Obviously, England's substitute. But, like, Leonidas, the captain, he's done this quite a lot.
Name's Leonidas?
His name is Leonidas. He has a fantastic beard.
Well done, the best name in history.
He did do the Spartan, at the first XTC. Greece was at the first XTC. So
this is Sparta. So let's stop there very briefly, if you don't mind. Who were the two auto seats here? It was Poland and
Italy.
Was it Italy? Italy. Yeah.
Italy got on well. Last year, Italy got smashed. They didn't have a full team. I think there was a lot of infighting. And this year they have they have a really good team this year. I think the only one that's missing is Alessandro Marmarini, who normally plays, but he doesn't play much online. So yeah, but the ones that you'd expect to do well are Italy and Poland here. I think a lot of people did expect Singapore to come out the gate shooting as well, which is why I'm really curious about this Brazil. I mean, Liam or Connor, have you played against any of the Brazilians yet? I know Vince is in the chat saying that, I called it, but Vince does.
I played two of them in the GSPs, and I lost both exceedingly narrowly, but they were both very good.
Good players.
I haven't played against any of them. What I can say about South American players, they do tend to put in quite a strong showing, and I don't think they're kind of represented fairly. Like, you think, South America, they can't be that good, but they really do bring it to a competitive scene.
They're super far away, and their time zone is super crap. So we end up having events that don't marry up. So the reality is you only see them when the big numbers play out.
Yeah,
and they're good at making those big numbers.
The Lima Open was a massive success.
The Lima Open was great. I mean, there are definitely some good players from South America. And the thing that I want to know, that I was really curious about, is how deep does their pool go? Because they're going to have a couple of really good players, but have they got the depth? And as much as I don't want to shit on Greece, I think Greece was always going to be one of the weaker teams in this pool. They haven't played in a while and they don't have that many players. So whilst it's amazing to see Greece back at the XTC, and long may that continue, I love Greece, I don't think this is a good test for Brazil yet. I think any of the other teams would have done that to Greece. Don't know about Norway. I think Malaysia-Greece is going to be a really fun round. I think I'd expect Norway to come ahead of those two. But yeah, I think what's really interesting to me is next round. Because if you have a look at next round here, Poland-Italy, that's got to be a fight for the top of the group, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, with the potential Singapore coming up behind.
Yeah, I think Singapore can absolutely get another 6-1 against Greece. Norway, Czech, that's going to be an interesting for maybe the fourth spot there. Um, I'd expect. See, I'm actually really curious about Malaysia, Brazil. Ah, okay. Sorry, is it? Sorry. Thanks, Elmo. Apparently, these aren't the exact pairings for the next round, so I'm not going to pay too much attention to next round then. I'll look that up later on the schedule. I can bring up schedule for next round. We'll do that at the end. But yeah, I think next round is going to be the next few rounds is where I'm really curious here, because if we've ended up with 4 genuinely strong teams in the same group and 4 genuinely weak teams, this is going to get interesting. But when it comes to the end of this process, we're going to see some real fights for second and first place.
And those are the 2 points that matter,
Mm-hmm.
which is the upsetting part for us all. Unless you're England.
It doesn't matter. Like, I know XY is feeling bad about being drawn into this group. I don't think it matters who comes third and fourth. It's going to hurt. It's going to really
It is going to hurt. We'll get to Group C and we'll discuss the pain right there.
Oh boy, I'm tempted to do Group C last. Shout out, we are going to be totally biased, by the way. Like, this is not a non-biased XTC stream.
Nor have I ever been non-biased in my entire life.
Yes.
No one picked me. Screw you all.
Yeah, Liam
Yeah.
is I hate everyone. Bringing back.
Liam is currently playing for ABE and ABI. That is anybody but England and anybody but Ireland.
Yes, agreed. Well, I mean, to be fair, anyone but England is the normal in these, right? Yeah.
I actually did say, like, it's not something we often do in this island, and in rugby it won't change, but my second seed team for this event is England. They're my second horse in the race because I have a lot of friends in that team.
I appreciate that, because I mean, yeah, rugby, England, everyone just like everyone wants England to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
Viciously.
so this is where it gets interesting. And as Vince is saying in the chat, Lithuania. Oh, they were so close. They were so close. I mean, shout out to Asgal.
Yeah.
Asgal is in the chat, and he is the one that thumped Timo. So, oof. Asgal, chuck in your thoughts on this if you're fancying doing a bit of a chat. But I don't know. What do you guys think about the rest of this group?
Peru, I expected to come out above New Zealand simply because they do have the strength of like the Lima Open and things like that. Iceland, I expected because that section of the world does have a stronger player base.
You expected Iceland to thump South Africa.
Not thump. I think a lot of people are sleeping on teams like Iceland. South Africa have a strong player base,
Yeah.
but just the region of the world, you know they're going to have a strong team.
I don't disagree. I think Iceland have got a lot of good players, but I have to say I'm still vaguely surprised by the result.
I'm surprised by that result. I was expecting South Africa to win, but I think this is a result Iceland South Africa is gonna. I don't think that's gonna make people pay enough attention to Iceland and South Africa. I think that's a lucky first round pairing for them, because I think both of those teams are going to go underestimated in this group, and they could be kingmakers. I think they're going to catch some wins against some of the bigger teams here.
Well, Germany, we expect to top the group. Well played, Lithuania.
Yeah.
But Germany will come back firing. Who's number 2?
So officially, Scotland is number 2, and actually,
No, I mean in 7 rounds time.
oh well, we'll get into that one. But what I do have to say is I'm going to put my hands up and I'm going to apologise to Scotland, because I don't know how good Ukraine are. I haven't seen too many Ukrainian players here, but I think Scotland is. I was sleeping a little bit on Scotland. Scotland went up 5-1 right at the start, and they did lose their last round. But yeah, I didn't rate the Scotland team enough. I know that obviously we've got Ted Holmes coming in that Scotland team as well, and he does know his way around the pairings board.
Best surname in the world as well. Gonna help.
Oh yeah, for sure. So yeah, I'm curious to see how Scotland do. Again, this is one that I would like to see against some good competition. I want to see Scotland going into the likes of a Germany and see how that goes. Because hey, who knows? Germany.
It is.
Good
This
for.
is anybody's group. To be fair, this is going to be the hardest fought one.
This is yeah.
I wouldn't write Peru off either.
I mean, this is the one where everyone looked at this at the start and went, right, Germany's winning. Who's going to come second? But hey, if Lithuania can get those wins off Germany, then are they? Are
Time
they
to sub out
panicking?
Funwalk, I think, eh, Funwalk?
Well, looking at the chat. Hey, Dutch. Talking about my beating in week 1. I'm going to blame TTS Dials. That's my fault. Also, I mean, come on, Dub Sprays. Dub Sprays.
When we get to
not
when
an
we get
easy
to Team
game.
C, I'm not going to blame fucking anything. Well, I could blame Dice. What's the point?
It's stuff and things. Should we leave? Should we do we have any more things to talk about here?
We'll stick the fact that I think there are 7 teams that could make second.
I agree.
I'm going to vote at this rate. However, I'm going to say Peru.
That is a good point. So who are we saying comes second here? What
I
do you
say
reckon,
Peru.
Lane?
I want it to be Scotland.
That wasn't the question.
Peru, but I want it to be Scotland.
I'm actually going to stick my neck out for Scotland.
Okay.
I think they've surprised me. They are a second seed. They've been doing this for a little while. Rory as the captain, Ted helping with pairings. I think, yeah, Scotland has the experience to do it. Do they have the players? I underestimated them. So yeah. Okay, the chat wins hands down. Yeah, I would agree though, Gary in the chat. So Womprat is Gary, right?
Yeah, it's Gary Colton.
Yeah.
And by the way, you have not met anybody in the entire world who's taking a closer look at stats than Gary Colton.
Yes.
This man has percentages on you all. He's got files. He knows your kids' names.
I'm not surprised. Like there are some people that are taking this pairing process very, very, very carefully. Also,
Yeah,
shout
if
out
we could
to
trade players, you could buy Gary Colton.
Yep. Shout
But
out
we're
to
not selling
Kester.
it.
Kester is our little information mine. I thought I knew the most about X-Wing in my team, but oof, that man has done a deep dive.
There's also my 3 o'clock opponent tomorrow.
Right. Are we going to skip Team C or should we go in order?
Whatever you like, my friend.
I'm gonna go in order. Otherwise, it's going to annoy me. So, this is the fun one. So clearly,
You're going to go in order having jumped to D?
Well, no, we're going to go to C. This is C.
Yeah.
So, what we're going to do is I'm going to get my bias out of the way. But actually, I think we had a very lucky first round matchup. Love Colombia. They're really lovely people. If anyone hasn't seen Julian's game from today, don't watch it.
Oh
It's
my
not
god,
safe
that
for
is
work.
that is literally a crime.
Shout out to Liam for saying that he just finished watching that game in the Pornhub gangbang section. I mean, God, it was. I am genuinely sorry for that Colombian opponent for unleashing Julian Hood on you. You are a lovely person. You didn't deserve that.
And nobody has anybody ever seen up until today 4 hits and a crit from a homing missile?
For anyone in the chat, do not let the homing missile shoot. Just especially on a 1 agility ship.
4 hits and a crit straight onto the hull.
For anyone wondering, you can kill an Ark in 2 shots.
Yep. With
Yep.
ships that generally fire 2 dice attacks.
Yep. I mean, anyway, let's move on from that. But no, I think honestly we got a bit lucky with Colombia. Shout out to Lloyd for winning quite a rough game. And also shout out to Colombia because they also got done in by dial problems. Kester versus their resistance player. For anyone that is playing in the XTC or just in general on TTS, please double check your dials. At the moment, if you have too many people in the room, there is a lag issue that can sometimes cause the input to your set dial to be ignored, and it will revert back to the previous turn's maneuver. It caused my Obi-Wan to stay still in front of Django, which led to his imminent death, shockingly. It also caused one of the Colombian guys in our pairing to fly a ship off a table in the second round. So yeah, check your dials. Make sure before you declare that you are set that
Or
everything
anybody else
is there.
staying up at 1 o'clock in the morning last night to watch Mr. Pocknell's game, I think we can believe him on this one.
It was
Otherwise, that
painful.
was just suicide.
It was painful. But yeah, I mean, yes, and yeah, Fate of Cain. Oof, I heard about that game. That was painful. But yeah, so apart from the England Colombia game, because I think that was expected. There was some. Should we talk about Canada Croatia? Canada Croatia finished. It hasn't been fully updated, but it finished 4-3. I mean,
Oh.
that's the big upset.
I think we
right?
have honestly discussed this. I think Canada's can take his lumps, come out of it, and forget that happened.
Yeah, I think
They'll
so.
be back. Canada could field 5 teams.
Yeah, they could. Like Canada is alongside the big X-wing countries of the world.
And great communities, really good setups and discords, and they're well organized.
Yeah, they are.
So we can assume that this is not not a sign of things to come, and I don't look forward to meeting them.
My expectation.
Although it will be a fun game because I've yet to meet a nasty Canadian.
Agreed. My expectation on this is that I think this was maybe first round pairing jitters. XTC is very much a pairing game as much as it is just a game of X-wing. So if Croatia, either by throwing random shit at the wall and seeing what stuck, or by genuinely out pairing them, because I know Mattia is a very, very committed captain. He talks a lot of crap online, and he makes it sound like he's not really paying attention, but actually he puts a lot of thought into the game.
And his reaction to the winning first round, priceless.
Oh yeah, so shout out to the team captain who found out that he won the first round, immediately went out on a massive bender and just started buying random people's shots. I mean, I'm fairly sure that he was actually out on a work do because of it, but also just started buying random people's shots. So yeah, good stuff, Mattia.
Yep.
Also, I hope I said your name right this time because I've screwed it up 3 times already. It's fine.
Oh, you're not in the habit of farmerizing everyone's name on.
I would say that I'm like semi decent at pronouncing things, but I'm not quite farmer levels. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
All right, so
that was a
we're we're slowly moving towards Ireland, Wales.
let's do that last because
Yeah,
we don't need any more stress in Connor's life. Philippines Finland. This one ended 5-2 instead of the 4-1 that you see on the screen. I think Finland is the sleeper. I predicted that Finland was going to come second in this group. Sorry. But I think they have a good chance to. I think if there's going to be an upset, this is the fight for second place between Canada, Ireland, and Finland.
we're looking forward to it.
I mean, like, Canada can absolutely do it, but I think, honestly, again, this is a group with a big top 4. But I thought that, and then Croatia went and beat Canada, so who knows?
Yeah, I'm calling this the group of death. I don't care that I'm in it.
There's a
This has been our first round was a hard run.
Yeah.
So our last game is a substitute. God bless his little cotton socks, brought in 2 days before. Has a 6-month-old daughter. Hasn't played X-wing really in a year and a half. Handed list, put as many hours in as he possibly could, and was on the table for 2 hours and 4 minutes before he came out and announced who won it.
Yeah.
They were all of us sitting ready to punch walls, waiting for the answer to this.
Oh god,
So-
this was another one of those games that went down to the last dice roll. Oh my god.
We've had so many of them.
Yep.
Oh, we had so many of them.
Shout
But anyway,
out to Rich Polly for not flying a ship off the table. That was close.
yeah, that was a close one.
I saw that. I looked at it and I was like, that's game.
Yeah.
Well,
It-
funnily enough, so did all of us.
US got super lucky. Interesting. Ooh. No, that's we're gonna need that spice. We're gonna need that spice. I was looking forward to actually congratulating Marcel. Maybe I can go back to chat shit.
Yeah. The one of the US games and out for me. So when we get to that,
Fair play.
I'll bring up some time.
You might want to reload your Discord as well, Liam dear.
You're fuzzing a little bit.
Okay.
I think you're okay.
Let me try.
No, you should.
Okay, yeah.
You should be okay. Should be okay. All right. So, yeah, Philippines, Finland. I don't think that's a good example. I think the Philippines are okay, but again, they're not one of the strongest. So it'll be curious to see how Finland do against Canada this next round. That is going to be, because Finland and Canada are playing each other. If you are going to watch one pairing for the XTC this week, then Canada Finland is it. I've just checked out all of their matches, and it's going to be close. If the players are both at equal skill level, this one's going to be another 4-3. I don't know which way it's going to go.
Ireland face Colombia.
Ireland face Colombia. Don't underestimate them. They've now had a week to learn.
We're not underestimating anybody.
Yeah.
Look, I had this chat with a teammate. I'm looking for top half of the pack. Now, obviously, top 2 would be great, but we'll take top half of the pack.
Yeah, I think I would say that you hit top half easy. That it is going to be fisticuffs for second place. And I think if Finland beat Canada here, then I think that's Canada out the race. Is it though? Because they can get this is the thing. Canada can get upset wins against anyone. They're good enough.
Yeah, I don't think 5-2 is out of the race.
Yeah. Yep.
And bear in mind, I completely and totally happily accept that England is a powerhouse with 7 obscene names on it, but you can still lose.
Oh yeah. Oh, most definitely. If we mess up pairings, if we mess up games.
If the dice gods decide that this is not your round.
Yeah, and Funwalk is Fave Kane. Yeah, absolutely correct. Canada is gunning for England purely for hot sauce bets.
So the bet is if you lose a single round in this.
Yes, a single round.
You're drinking a bottle of hot sauce.
As a team, if we lose, not a bottle. Come on. But yeah,
that's the rumor.
If we lose a single round, then I am going to go on GSP and answer Star Wars questions, and I'm going to get hot sauced if I get them wrong. So yes, that's if we lose a single round. Because
is that definite no on the cement mixer shots then?
No, but it's fine because we're not losing a round. So as a genuine thing, I'm fairly confident in that. I'm gonna sit back.
You don't want to make
players.
this too much because I've already been accused of collusion. I'm guessing jokingly once, but you don't want to leave your team in a position where we could totally all just fly off the board.
Oh no!
If
we win the first, I'm tempted to. I don't think I've got a leg to stand on here, because if there isn't direct competition, i.e., if no one else can go 6-1, and we are 6-0 at the end of the last round, they are totally just going to lose on purpose. It's going to happen.
I don't know, actually. If I think of the names in your team, I'm not sure how many
the other
of them
thing
have the ability to lose on purpose.
Tom Reed and Julian Hood don't have the capability of deliberately losing a game. They just don't understand what that means. So I only need someone to take at least the slightest bit of pity on me, assuming that I can actually win my game, which at the moment seems like that's a hard ask. So we'll go.
So Hester, Dom, yeah, you'll be fine.
It should be okay. Should be fine. Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned, but not too concerned. There had to be good stakes for the bet, right? If the stakes were we weren't going to get our groups, I feel like no one's really going to expect that. At least we actually have now proper stakes for the spicy bet.
Oh, with you. Yeah. Dom, you have to lose on purpose. You don't just lose. Don't panic.
Oh, right. Group D. Group D is interesting because Spain didn't play their first round.
Australia.
Group D and Group E, the strongest team did not play round 1.
Yep.
So I'm really curious about this. But I mean the other 3 matchups, I mean, who saw that coming? Chile beating Australia.
Not me.
No. I was just assuming
probably not Australia.
And the award to the obvious comment goes.
There's Actor Khan literally spitting nails at me from across the planet.
Oh God, they cannot be happy about that, because they were coming in as serious business as well.
Yeah, let's be fair. This is probably another old colonial nation that's had a minor upset. We'll be back.
I agree.
They had a pretty big team selection process as well, didn't they?
Yes, they did. The Australian team is under pressure. Let's just put it that way. This I think is my biggest surprise. The Canada one doesn't surprise me as much because it's the first round, and they haven't done as much of the XTC before. Like, Actor has been playing in the ETC for 40k for years, literally years. He's been playing for over 10 years. He knows this pairing system like the back of his hand. The only thing that I can think of is either like they just got player gapped, which seems unlikely considering Australia, or I feel like maybe Chile threw some random stuff at them they just weren't expecting, and therefore it completely messed up their pairing system.
Maybe someone took one of their best players as well.
Julian counts as English. It's fine. Also, yeah, no, shout out to Chile, because I don't think this was a case. You don't just go and beat Australia. Like,
we're gonna repeat South America, the dark horse of the continent.
Is everyone sleeping on South America? And like, South America social media presence is ridiculous. And hey, this is the time that they prove themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is called the Group of Death because they had Australia, Spain, and the United States of America in it.
Yep.
Spain is yet to crack their knuckles, and Australia has gone down in game.
USA 6-1-ing Sweden was not what I was expecting.
No.
Like, Sweden have some very good players.
Yeah.
And also, so like, okay, pour one out for Nicholas God. Pour one out for Nicholas God, because
and then some fucking then some.
Fair play to Carson for taking very little credit for that game. Because,
well, we have to be. I've said this over and over again. Carson Ray gets full credit for that game because he played to his outs, the only outs he could play to, and he played them all perfectly.
And what I have been really, really like, I want to give Carson a hug. I genuinely do, because every single time I've seen him talking about that game, all he's said is, "Look, I knew that there was only one way I won that game, so I just put my ships in that position. The rest of it was dice luck." That's essentially what he said every time.
Which is full credit for the bloody win.
Exactly, and it was just like, you knew you had one win condition. And I think Nicholas's only complaint there is that he could have been slightly more careful. He gave the opportunity to do that. He gave Carson the opportunity to have the horrendous dice swing at the end. And fair play to Carson, like, he knew that win condition.
What's happened?
Yeah. And again, with winning against the double fire sprays as well, like, that was, whew. This could have very easily been a 4-3 to USA. I think they would have won it, but it could have very easily been a 4-3.
Sweden just have to move on. You can drop the first one, guys.
Yeah, I think to be fair to Sweden, yeah, absolutely. Like, they were some very close losses, and I think Sweden should actually be really, really buoyed by that win. By that round, because if you assume that USA is definitely top 2, then you can beat anyone else in that group. Because I don't think that, while Spain is top seed, and I think they are the front runners, they are not fallible. I think that I haven't seen too many of the Spanish playing on TTS, so I don't know how good they are at the moment.
Yeah, I don't believe I have ever played a Spanish player in about 35 events this year.
I recognise all the names. Like, all of those names have been to the XTC before or are well-known Spanish players. So they have a strong team. I don't know how well they're going to transition to TTS, because I just haven't seen them on there.
I feel like my opinion's out of this one because I don't think I know any of them.
A lot of them go by call signs, which doesn't help. Similar to Poland, they will, like, either they'll have the call sign or they'll have the other name. Obviously, Marcelo, you probably know, but yeah. Shout out to Marcelo. I don't think I've beaten him yet. Curse you.
Well, I look forward to them entering this round.
Yes. It's going to be really interesting to see what Spain does. And yeah, I think the summary of this, I mean, Hungary, Malta,
the best of luck.
Good job, Hungary. I mean, I feel like whatever happens next round to Hungary and Malta, it's probably not going to be pretty.
Well, we're going to have to give Chile the dues. They're one up.
Yeah.
They can do it.
Chile, Brazil.
So I'm going to say there are 5 teams playing for top 2, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, this is going to be super interesting, because again, with Chile beating Australia, I think they've cracked it wide open. That could be, I mean, with USA beating Sweden and Chile beating Australia, this could be what Spain and the USA need to lock in that top two.
Who's USA playing next?
I will do that at the end. I'll get up the other sheet where all the next rounds are.
Okay.
Yeah, Sweden will absolutely bounce back with a vengeance. I agree, Marcel. I think you should definitely be scared of USA, Australia, Chile, and Spain, and Sweden, of course. Okay, last group. All right, barring the first one. Okay, I want to start this one off. Because this is not Japan on its own. This is Little America, and you should be scared of Little America. But also credit to the Japanese players. It's really good to see that we have some Japanese X-wing contingent. But yeah, there's I mean, Ryan Fleming, Raven Cat, Joe Conglin. Who's the other American guy that they've got?
How did they murk 4 Americans?
Because 2 of them live in Japan.
Well, yeah.
Joe and Raven Cat are they are vassal heads. They've been playing vassal for as long as I have, and are terrifying players. And then obviously Ryan Fleming is Ryan Fleming. This is basically Japan is team vassal.
I mean, you just imagine Japan ever picks this game up as one of their, big sports, they'll be top of this list.
Oh yeah,
3 weeks.
Yeah, X-wing is a non-entity in Japan. If we know that the Japanese are ridiculously good at games, but yeah, no, absolutely. Fleming, it is team vassal because Fleming, Ravencat, Joe, they've all been on vassal for years. I've really enjoyed playing against them, and they kick my butt on a regular occasion. So let's see how well they survive the transition to TTS. And Switzerland is not. I don't think people should look at this and go, "Oh, Switzerland aren't very good," because Switzerland has some really, really good players. I think Japan has earned that. Yeah, it's interesting. So, sorry, over to you guys. What else for this group?
I mean, it's hard to say that. Well, okay, I watched most of the Mexican-Serbian games, and I'm not being an arse, but they're both lucky to be in Group E.
Yeah, fair.
I'd be relatively confident we'll see France in the top 2.
Yep. Squeaky
who's the
versus
other one?
Denmark.
Well, yeah, I know, because they're not writing off either. So who's number 2? I mean, this is not going to... I mean, if you threw, I don't know, England or Germany into this, they'd be on top of the group. Maybe that's too automatic and easy to say.
But we haven't seen the Dutch play yet.
We have not seen the Dutch play yet.
My top 2 for this, I'd say Netherlands on top, followed by France.
See, I was saying France, and then I paid closer attention to who's in the... I think Japan might come second. I think this could be Netherlands, Japan. I don't know, because France is filled with good players. But
yes, it is.
Denmark ran them really close. How close were those games? Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I agree. I don't think Mexico and Serbia. I mean, Serbia's got some good players,
22 to
but not the tail
200.
end. Which one?
France. Go back to France again.
Yeah, 22 to 200.
My lord.
Oh, and 200 to
That must have
0.
hurt. So they were probably throwaway pairings, weren't they?
I would imagine that those
To
were
get better
France's 2
pairing.
throwaways. To be fair, from the looks of it, France went for 2 really strong games, 2 really weak games, and 2 coin flips, just going for the 4-2. Yeah, Andrew did one too. Yeah, but let's be honest. It's Andrew and his rebels, and if he gets a good pairing, he is just going to sit there, not take any damage, and run over people. I love the man,
reasonable
but
tactic to me.
his list is filthy. And if people haven't brought enough things to counter his list, it's going to 200-0 people. Sorry, that sounds very dismissive. Well done to Andrew, but also, screw that list.
Also, why are we not all playing that list?
Well, because there's only one rebel squad.
Well, okay, why are we not... You know what I mean. Why are there not 38 copies of that
I
list?
still think our team made it better. It's fine. I have really enjoyed the different attempts at making Andrew's list better, actually, in the XTC. There is a lot of clones, and I'm curious to see who ends up on top.
The Garvin Hera perpetual focus machine.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. You can eventually run out of focus tokens. I tried. It does work. Just takes about 3 turns. You got to be shooting.
So we're gonna.
Hmm?
Is the chat going to call the Netherlands for first, having unblooded?
I mean, I am willing to call the Netherlands for first, having unblooded.
Okay.
Because I've had a look at who's in their team, and they have 5 of the players that are regularly at the top, and 2 of them that are probably still able to be really good.
Okay.
I mean, I agree with you, Nobby. I think that 5 Rebel A-Wings is better in a general take-on-all-comers format, because the Captain's slow or whatever you want to do. Yeah. I mean, there are some real good counters to it. Just are you able to get the pairings process into it? That's the question. Yeah, Nicholas just... If Nicholas gets the Rebel list, he just goes, oh, cool. How much auto damage would you like to take from Tyranny? Awesome. Anyway. But yeah, honestly, I think team... On top of Group B, Group E is going to be a really interesting one. Not for the bottom end, because I think it's clear what teams are going to end up at the bottom. I think we're going to see a super close fight for first and second place here. Because
are there any group you'd say that isn't the case? Is there any group where it's not 4 teams minimum fighting for it?
I think Group A might be that. Because I think Italy and Poland... So, from the first round, you've seen the stomps. I think we've got all the stomps out the way. But I think Poland can do that to Brazil and Singapore. Personally. And
Okay.
I think Italy have a good chance of doing it as well. I think there are 2 steps in Group A. I think Italy and Poland are just that bit better than the next 2 down. But I think you're right. I think the only group that I would pick that for is A. And am I sleeping on Brazil? Probably. As Vince will continue to tell me.
6-1 and is a hell of a start. I mean, they are some very clear scores.
They are, but how good is Greece?
That is very true.
How good is Greece? And as Nobby is saying in the chat, do you think Singapore has enough depth? Yes. I think that Singapore is lacking the tail end. Obviously, they've got some really good players, and they practice against ex-world champions and XY on the regular basis, so they have the quality. But do they have enough of it? And I think when you come up against the Poland and in Italy, when you end up with maybe 1 solid game and an awful lot of coin flips, you're going to need to win more than 1 of those coin flips on player skill.
Okay. I'm not going to actually argue with any of that, really.
Yeah, I don't know. That's how I feel on that one. Right. I think based on... I think Group A is probably the most clear-cut. I think Group B is going to turn into an utter fustercluck still. The irony is I think Group B has the clearest to first place. I don't know who's going to come second, but I think Group B is going to end up with the clearest second place. Someone is going to rise out of that pile of ashes, and it's not going to be as close. I think C, D, and E are going to have much more of a big fist fight for those places.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Group C is going to be entertaining. Because I don't think anyone... I think there's only 2 teams in Group C at the moment that have really gone, oh, okay, they're probably at the bottom.
Yeah, we did not have an easy win.
Yeah, I agree.
I could have played for Wales.
There he is. So...
But no.
Okay, Liam.
Yo.
Do you want to offend some people?
Name them, and I'll do it.
Do you want to have a guess on who comes last in each of these groups?
Okay, let's go.
All right, Group A.
So, Group A, I reckon it will be Greece.
Okay. I
Yeah.
I will agree with you. I think
Screw
I'm
you,
really
Tom
sorry,
Field, then.
Hellas, but it's hard to argue.
it is. I think they are lovely people, and also like if you see the Greek X-wing team, it is one of the, along with the Italians, some of the friendliest groups of people that I've met. Okay, Group B.
Uh, Tough.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go with New Zealand.
I think Ukraine. Connor?
Um, sorry, I've just jumped off your. I'm sorry, I was on
No,
your
no
thing,
worries.
but it's timeline. Uh, I have to say New Zealand as well.
All New Zealand have got is Lord of the Rings. So
And Viva
Screw
la
'em.
Dirt League, which is one of the best things in the world.
Viva la Dirt League is amazing.
Not to mention a
Okay, yeah.
COVID response that made the rest of us look like morons.
Oh God, don't even.
But apart from
Don't even. Right.
screw you, New Zealand.
Yeah, fair enough. Screw you, New Zealand. Done. I don't think New Zealand have taken their strongest team this year. I think they're missing a few players. Right, Group C. What do you reckon?
Colombia.
Wow, that's really mean. They have got the best stream going, despite the fact I don't speak any
I mean,
Spanish.
it was great fun to watch. I didn't understand a damn thing going on. But you know what?
Yeah.
It sounded good. There was lots of noises going on. Right.
I
Well-
genuinely think. Yeah. Also, the spell. This was not my spelling. Just blame general Europeans. But no, I think this might be Philippines.
Yeah, I'm not going to call Colombia. I think Colombia got overawed by the fucking big dogs at the track, and I don't think they played particularly badly. Now, the last game was just horrific, but I don't really think that was actually entirely his fault.
They also flew 2 ships off the board.
Yeah, not a good start.
And I think there is definitely some nerves going into that. There is some teething issues with a lot of them having fairly new to TTS. I think Colombia are going to surprise some teams at the end of this process.
I'm gonna stand up for Colombia. I'm gonna say it's gonna be Philippines. I'm just gonna hope it's
okay.
not Ireland. That's pretty much my hope.
Well, it can't be Ireland because
change
you've
mine
already
to-
won a game, right?
That is true. That is true. It is unlikely it will be us.
I'm going to change mine to a personal bias and say, screw you, Wales. I hope you come last because you could have taken me.
You're not wrong. I mean, they could do. I love Steve. He's actually really good at the pairings. But if the other teams, I can't see Wales losing to both Colombia and Philippines. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, when they took us to the wire, we're certainly not going to say that.
Hey, Pedro. Shout out to Brazil in the chat. Oh yeah, also, if you guys haven't watched the Colombian stream, oh my god, go
It's awesome.
watch it.
It's so good. It's just a pity it's Spanish.
Great.
Also, Nobby, this one's for you. Yes, that was me. That was me. I'm going to say that all the excuses coming out, I threw myself under the bus versus the sprays. TTS screwed me with dials. How many more would you like? But no, as serious credit, like, the sprays are hard, man. It hurt. Right, Group D. Who's coming last?
Malta?
Yeah. I mean, this is actually really hard.
Yeah, this is really hard.
This one is really hard. Is it? Because I would have said Hungary beforehand, but they've just beat Malta. So
Malta's the easy one to call because we don't want to call Sweden, and we're not going to call Australia.
I'm
actually
not
just
Sweden.
won.
Sweden are going to beat someone else.
No, but the point is they are currently bottom of the track.
Yes.
But nobody's
but
going to call them.
Nobody's going to call Sweden. Like, yeah. I think it's going to be Malta.
I think it's going to be Malta now.
On the subject of Liam being bitter, so shout out to Dan Gireb for turning down both England and Wales and going to Malta.
Oh wow!
I think he might regret that decision.
I was wondering, he is Welsh, right?
He is well, yeah. So he's originally born in Malta though, and actually I completely understand him playing for Malta, and I think it's really really like. Shout out, man! He wanted to play for his
I'm going to assume he's one of those two
birth
wins,
country.
right?
I would think so. Quad HMPs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good man. The Gary Lineker of the Malta.
Yeah, and like fair play to Dan. He wanted to play for the country he was born in. And sure, do it. Like it's all, and also, Captain of Malta. It's gone out of my head. Dave, Captain of Malta, Dave, did all of the art for the XTC, in terms of like the card backs and everything else. So,
Well, I'm no longer going to call Malta as last because Dan Zurb was playing on them.
And this is the thing, right? Like they've got Dan. Like they have some good players there. Yeah.
But it's really hard to see who else is going to be. We're going to go back to Hungary. The fact that this was
I'm
chance
tempted.
win.
Like this is the thing. Like because Hungary knows the pairing system. They've been in this before, or they have players that have been in this before. Hello. Oh, we've got the best stream in the world. Club Del Rol, Colombian stream. Shout out. Like you guys have been amazing this week, and look forward to smashing Ireland off the face of the earth next week. It's going to be good.
Ollie.
I went fishing.
I
got a nibble. I got a nibble.
Colombia, we are very much looking forward to the pleasure of your company and your corpses at our feet.
Yeah. And lamentations of your women as they are driven before you.
Exactly.
I don't care what the result is. There's lots of music and noise.
Yes.
And the horrifying noise from Rick and Morty.
But yeah, like
yeah,
it's good. It's good. Yeah, I think. Am I going to go Malta? I'm really tempted to say Hungary, but I think I'm going to stick my neck
I'm going to
out
say
on
Hungary
Malta.
now, just because Dan Zurb represent. He's one of my favorite Welshmen, stroke Maltese.
He is an amazing person, but I don't think the team has the strength behind him. I think he's going to be MVP of an unfortunate team there. And love the Maltese; they're really friendly, but oof.
That's good too.
Well, that's interesting. Sweden got lucky by playing the US in round 1 and then having a break for round 2. So they play the game that they're expected to lose and then get a load of time to practice.
Or drink.
Or drink. I mean, fair enough. Like, Nobby's lying. We don't have any depth. I mean, we've got Ash up as a sub who do that to ourselves. Love you, Ash.
Take me. Huh? Nothing?
What?
Alright, DJ Ray. Nobody is going to say Sweden are coming last, and nobody is saying Sweden are out of this competition.
Yeah, I agree.
I promise you, Sweden, we're accepting the anomaly. We're accepting they've got real chance of getting back in.
Yeah. And also, what's really worth noting here is I know we're saying that countries don't have depth. When I say lack of depth, I'm not saying that your players at the bottom end are bad. Like, no one in the XTC is a bad player. Like, even the Colombian players who installed TTS like last week, I got beaten by someone who's been playing for 2 months. Shout out to Emmanuel. Yeah.
Australia is going to go 06 and think they're on top. It's my new favorite comment of all time.
Yeah, but it's like, I got splatted by someone who's been playing X-Wing for 2 months. So, like, yeah, he did really well, and I don't think anyone in this competition is like, they wouldn't disgrace themselves at a tournament. Let's just put it that way. So when I say teams don't have depth, what I mean is when you consider the world-class quality of players that are in this competition, they are going to get player gapped, not because they're bad players, but because of the quality of everyone else. So there we go. Just to get that one away before anyone thinks I'm shitting on you too hard. Right, and last group. Oh, who comes last here?
Honestly,
this
and
is
I don't
hard.
mean to be mean, whoever lost the Mexico-Serbia matchup is going to come last in this group.
Oh,
Serbia.
but
Indeed.
It's got Philip Vukic in it. I feel like it's another Dan Zero. Sorry, Philip, you might struggle here. I do remember Nick is playing. See, Ireland said that Nick is one of their best players, so don't know what that says about Connor.
I know, right? I'm basically the mascot.
Nah, we're to be fair, like he's getting pretty good at that bomber list. Right. So yeah, is it the loser out of Mexico and Serbia? See, I'm going to stick my neck out here and say that actually Mexico is going to come last. That's going to get me a lot of hate. but I think Mexico's coming last. I think Serbia are going to bounce back. I don't know. That's probably the one that's going to come back and bite me.
I don't think how, because who are they going to beat?
What's Serbia?
Who is either of those teams going to beat?
Serbia can beat Denmark. Serbia can beat Switzerland. They can do it. It's not going to be easy, but they can do it.
Who went 3-on to both of their opposing teams?
Yeah, so did...
Nope, sticking with it. I'm sorry,
Fair
Serbia.
enough.
If you'd beaten Mexico, I'd say you'd be 7th or 6th. In this game.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Right, so shall we have a look at what's coming up next week then?
Sure.
Yes.
Right, let's finish this off. Let's do a bit of a zoom. So, oh no, that's just for... I need to get the big version up. Oh, that's going to be a massive pain. Right, let's get TTT up instead. This is going to be really annoying. Is there a good way of doing this? I mean, I was talking smack about Colombia, correct? Right, let's see. Is it in the Discord? I'm just gonna stall for time here while I go and look things up. Announcements, possibly. Not entirely sure where this is going to be. No, it's on the yeah. We can get it on the XTC homepage. So let's go for that. So edition info, and we want the round robin group stage schedule. Here we go. Here is the large sheet of foldy paper. Right, let's get that out of the way. Let's get that back. Awesome. Right then. So, where were we looking for? We're looking for this one. Cool. I mean, yeah, only player to drop a game. I definitely need to smack talk Nobby. I think that's the whole purpose of this. Right, so let's do a bit of a zoom. We're looking at round 2 this week. So let's go over here and have a look at what we got. So we have Italy versus Czech Republic, Poland versus Malaysia, Brazil versus Singapore, and Norway versus Greece.
Let's run that one down pretty quickly, shall we? From left to right, those are the teams that are going to win.
Yeah,
I
you're
was
not
about to say
wrong.
the same thing.
You're not wrong. I mean, the top 2 are going to really hurt. I disagree on the Brazil-Singapore. I think Singapore's going to beat Brazil.
We'll call that one as the one to watch.
I think that's going to be the flip, but that is the one to watch this week. I think all of the others are going to be a little bit painful and ouch. Italy and Poland are having a nice warm-up to this tournament. I think it's going to be when they play each other. When do they play each other? Poland, Singapore in week 3. That's going to be interesting. Italy, Brazil might be interesting. I think this is when we're going to see Brazil's level. When week 4, Italy, Brazil. If Brazil turn it up against Italy, that's your week that you absolutely have to win Brazil if you want to come and get out of groups. Because Poland is the front runner in this. If you want to come second, then you got to beat Italy. Anyway, so let's have a look at Group B. Germany, Ukraine, New Zealand, Lithuania. I mean, yeah, Germany wins that, right? You'd like to think so?
Yeah.
Ukraine was the boops at the bottom. I mean, I love Pedro, and Pedro is in the chat, but I think, I don't know. Again, like, prove me wrong. You went 6-1 first week. Singapore went 5-2. I don't rate Greece. Sorry. Right then. New Zealand, Lithuania. I think, is this the fight for last place?
Yeah,
Or
probably.
are we saying that Lithuania, after taking Germany to 4-3, are really genuinely scary?
I reckon they've got a shot.
I believe in the concept of anomalies, but let's wait and see what happens. I do think Lithuania will beat New Zealand.
Mm. Yeah,
It's hard to identify it as an anomaly if there's no other results to go by.
and that's the
Indeed.
thing,
So
right?
I'm going to go with Lithuania on this.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see this one in week 2. I think we're going to see especially like Scotland versus South Africa, I think we're going to see a lot of proofs of pudding. Iceland, Peru, I think that's going to be another good one.
Yeah, I think they're both going to be really good matches, actually.
It's going to be...
There could be second place fought fairly hard off here.
I think all three of these are going to be a really good idea of just how good are some of these teams when they finally get to play each other, because we've had the first week, it's had a bit of bumps. Yeah.
Group B, also very strong.
Is it strong?
Well, there's a lot of teams that, strong for the group stages, and there's a lot of teams of relative strength.
That's true. I think, yeah, you're correct in that. There's a lot of teams around the same level. All right, this is where we get a bit spicy.
Yeah.
Canada,
so how's England going to do? Pardon me?
Canada, Finland. That's going to be the one to watch in this group, I think, for this week.
Yeah, so Canada redeemed themselves against a arguably stronger side?
I mean, if I have a look at the lists, I rate Finland's lists over Canada, but I rate Canada's players over Finland. So I'm genuinely curious to see who comes out on top.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an interesting one to watch, all right.
Yeah, I agree.
England, Croatia. Can Croatia keep the shot purchasing alive
we've got to be
knocking
careful.
the king from their crown?
Like, that's the thing. If Croatia can beat Canada, then they can beat anyone. So we are, yeah. Oh, don't worry. I've already been looking at your pairings. We are well aware of the possibilities of a scary Croatia. And
was Fate of Kane our legendary Croatian captain who got very drunk after the win?
No, Fate of Kane is Canada.
Oh.
Yeah, who got super unlucky. But yeah, so no, we're taking Croatia very seriously. And sorry, Mattia, we are going to smash you into the ground this round. So see, I'm getting the shit chat out. Yeah, it's Cam. Right.
Oh, hey Cam. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm Connor.
I was just waiting. I was waiting for that one to tick over. So Ireland, Colombia, easy win for South America. Then, as I've been putting them down too easy.
I'm just not actually going to be part of this.
No, just
we felt we had a much better. We were expecting a 5-2 against Wales. We picked up a tight 4-3.
I was
so
expecting
our confidence has been shaken a little. So I'll just sit back and hope for some good games.
No, I think you'll be alright against Colombia. I think they will have learned from the first round though, so we'll see.
Well, as Full On said in his post match, they'll just keep getting better.
They will keep getting better. One of the reasons that I was very, very happy to play South America in the first round is because, and again with the Croatia versus Canada, the earlier you play some of these inexperienced teams, the easier it's going to be. I think that's the key. Okay.
Learn a lot, won't they? So. They'll learn a lot.
Yeah.
It's when you start off, you'd learn a lot more, a lot quicker than you would later on down the line. So
yeah,
they'd have a steep learning curve first.
Let's hope they haven't picked up just too much before we start next week, though, shall we?
Yeah, don't play on week 4. Philippines, Wales. I mean,
jeez, who do we have week 4? I can't remember.
Shall we find out?
It's you rat. Isn't it? It's England, right?
It is England, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's Wales week 4. Week.
Are we week 5?
No,
then,
you're right at the end.
Are we?
Literally.
Oh,
right
then
the
the thing online really is wrong. Then never mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, it is. This is the important one. This is on. If
oh,
anyone's
that's
wondering,
right. It's Super Saturday. That's right.
Yeah.
The 7th week.
Yeah. This is going to be interesting. But for week 2, I think Philippines should win that. But you never know.
Screw you, Wales.
Philippines might bounce. So Sweden gets the break. But this one. Australia coming into a cold Spain. We'll see.
What a way to start. Australia, this is your moment to shine.
I mean, does not having a warm-up exist for X-Wing?
I don't think so. I assume Spain are taking this seriously. They've been playing all week and they've been watching all week.
Oh yeah, and they know who their first round is, so they will have basically the Spanish team again, is one that takes their stats very seriously. They will have spent a long time watching all the VODs. So, yeah. Good luck, Nobby. I believe in you. Thousands wouldn't. But no, I genuinely think that Australia could take a win of this. Yeah.
I don't think this is callable. If I'm completely honest with you, I don't think this is a callable match. Let's just call a 4-3 conclusion, shall we?
I think it's going to be 4-3. I'm not sure which way.
Yeah.
I think Australia are going to be angry and looking to bounce back. Yeah, this could be more upsets. Chile against Malta. Sorry, Malta. I'm actually going with South America on this one.
Yep.
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 The next one, I'm going to go with Hungary because they say that hope can steer a ship through a storm.
Yeah. No, I think USA gets another good week this week.
Yes.
And shout out to
South
Marcel.
Canada will smash that.
Yeah, I think so. Shout out to Marcel in the chat as well. Makes a very good point. Because USA last year had to do these pairings back on back. Like one weekend, 10 rounds in a row. It was very rough. Whereas this, you get a week in between. You get to think about the mistakes you made. It's a lot more forgiving for newer teams. And yeah, I think what we've seen from the 6-1 in the first round, and yes, tight games, but USA have learned. Like Marcel has got quite good at these pairings. So yeah, I think this one is relatively like the top pairing is who knows, and the others are close. Sorry, the others are fairly easy to understand. I think
I have to say I would put a fairly significant amount of money on Sweden to take this round.
Yeah. No brainer.
Tens of thousands, in fact.
See, the frustration that I have is that we don't get to see Mexico this week, because I'm curious about the South American teams. Things that I am interested in here, not really. I'm not that fussed about Group E this week, honestly.
Well, the Netherlands get to shake off the dust and come out swinging.
On the subject of the whole left-hand side, I think the whole left-hand side.
Yeah, I think that's totally true.
All right.
In fact, it kind of has to keep the predictions alive for everything else.
Yeah, they do. I mean, if Switzerland come out swinging and beat the Netherlands, then oof.
Yeah, that's it. But if a team hasn't actually cracked out yet, I mean, I do accept that this is not the same thing as jet lagging across the world to play 5 rugby matches in a row.
Yes.
Everybody has been playing, etc., but we don't know what the gel is. We don't know the infighting, and it does happen.
It does.
We don't know how people have ended up being given lists, etc.
It's going to be curious.
So the teams that were off, the 2 teams that were from break and are now playing, well,
yeah,
there is a certain unknown factor. The fact that it's Spain and Netherlands, well,
yeah,
which is a certain inkling. But
well, I think in summary, it's been a hell of a first week for the XTC. I mean, the level of hype and streams for this week has been ridiculous, and I'm super excited for it to continue.
Yeah, my wife basically saying that the Olympics doesn't even go on this long. I'm like, this is way better than the Olympics.
Oh yeah,
this is geek football and rugby combined.
It is, and because I know, like talking to Connor over this week, I know that you've been saying that it feels like this is the World Cup. It feels like it, but it's better because I'm actually interested. Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, we've got vaguely the same sort of teams on top. Colombia and Mexico would be somewhat better if they were playing with the football, but
yeah. Although saying that, Brazil looks like they're keeping it the same.
Oh, and England actually can win this.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, as long as we're not coming down to penalties, we're okay. Everything's fine. That's just.
And Ireland might just make the breach of the top 8 and then get knocked out just at the very end of the group stages. That does sound like football now. I can think of it.
Oh God, let's just not talk about group stages in England. Oh dear. But yeah, no. On a serious thing, I mean, anything before we finish? Anything from you guys? Anything you wanted to mention?
I would love to just give a high five to every single person who've blown the dust off the streams and are popping them up every 20 minutes. It has made my wife hate every single moment of it, and I've loved the entire weekend.
It's great. Seriously, the big shout out. And what we're going to do is we're just going to do this, the xtc.space, because this page is the thing that you want. follow every single one of these people, especially these guys. These guys are amazing. But seriously, follow every single one of these people. They are the ones that are going to be putting streams up. If you are not already joined, then please ask either myself or someone else. They will give you a invite link to the XTC Discord, where all of the streams are being put up. And if you want to go to the video gallery, if it eventually loads, then every single XTC stream is being collated on here as well. Maybe. Probably. See, look at all these. They're great. It's amazing. So, yeah, if you want to watch XTC, there is more X-Wing than you can shake a stick at. There is 133 games every week at the moment.
It's amazing. And like about half of them are streaming.
I don't require sleep anymore.
I have to say, Ollie, but your text came in through. I was just off the bed, so I've got a feeling when I hit court in the morning, I'm going to feel very much like I need sleep.
Well, let's have a good kip. But signing off. Thank you for those of you who are in the chat and enjoyed this. And yeah, we'll see if we can get another one of these next Sunday as well. I kind of want to see if I can do a little recap every week. It's quite good fun, and see who the winners and the losers are. So
I thoroughly enjoyed this, Ollie, and it was very random. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Liam.
Yep,
thank
same.
you, Connor. And
Toodles.
toodles indeed. So, signing off.
See you all in the. We'll see you all in between the stars.
Ta-ra.